Craptacular podcast, where each month we continue our search for the best bad movies on the planet Earth. I am your host, Aaron, and I am joined, as always, by Matt.
Hello, Aaron.
Hello, Matt.
How you feeling?
Good.
Yeah?
Pretty good.
Good.
I got a little bit of a sniffle happening.
Oh, no.
But it's because it's winter. And winter...
Technically not yet.
You know what? It sucks. And that's all that I know. Yeah. I'm doing pretty good. Watched some stuff recently.
Well, since our last podcast, Halloween has come and gone.
Yes.
Did you watch any epic Halloween movies?
No, maybe. I think we talked about Halloween on the last podcast.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and we gave our
Yeah.
our recommendations.
But like the new Halloween, right? Pretty sure I talked about that.
I think so.
Yeah, I think I did too. What did I I watched The Meg
Oh, right.
the other day. That was pretty great.
Oh, boy.
Like 4 out of 5.
Wow.
Yeah. It could have been stupider, and that would have been better.
It could have been more self-aware of how dumb it was? Or?
Yeah, it took itself a little too seriously.
Okay.
I would have liked to had it either take itself less seriously or take itself so seriously. And it kind of did neither.
Oh.
Which is too bad. But Rainn Wilson is great. And he's the only one that understands what movie he's in.
Perfect.
And it is, I'm going to say it's the comedy performance of the year.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Huh.
He is ludicrous, and I love it. It's fantastic.
Wow. Okay. Well, I might actually watch it then.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. It's not long.
Good.
Yeah. If there's anything that's holding you back, it's like an hour and a half out of your life. You'd probably waste anyways, so just watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've watched other stuff. I don't know. Have you seen anything?
Yes, I watched 2 scary movies that I had never seen before, and they were both horrifying in different ways. Number 1, I watched The Conjuring for the first time.
Ooh, love it.
It was very disturbing. And based on a true story.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, anyway, yeah. I also watched The Babadook,
Nice.
which was bone chilling. I was really impressed with that movie.
It's so good.
Yeah. Like I think out of the 2, Babadook was the more impressive. As a movie, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
As for like a horror movie, though, for lasting effect, The Conjuring kind of won for me. Because Babadook, I was like, at the end, I was like, oh, this is super interesting because this is kind of like about trauma and dealing with mental issues.
It's about grief and
yeah,
and all those kind of
and
stuff.
that like being able to have that understanding was like it's not as scary. It's still like terrifying to watch.
Yeah.
But like it wasn't as scary. Whereas The Conjuring, I was like, oh, right, yeah. Demons. Fuck.
Yeah, so do you want to play hide and clap or
No.
Okay.
No. It's a dumb game and no one should ever play it.
Yeah, what I know I watched something else, and as soon as we stop recording, I'm gonna remember what it was.
Of course.
I've been watching a decent amount of TV actually.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Like TV or like just streaming stuff?
Well, like TV shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I guess it's pointless to make that distinction anymore. Who actually watches television these days?
Old people.
Yeah. Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah. They won't listen to this because they don't know what a podcast is, so it doesn't matter. I can make fun of them as much as I want.
I think they're being drawn into the streaming world, though, because all of Jeopardy is now on Netflix, right?
Oh, boy.
Maybe not all of it. That's saying a lot. But there is some Jeopardy on Netflix.
That's okay. See, that's terrible because Well, I mean, it's not. I'm sure there's people out there that like Jeopardy, but I'm just imagining trying to run tech support for my grandmother when, you're like, oh, okay, Grandma, you can watch Jeopardy now. It's on Netflix. Here's how you get onto Netflix, and you got to explain all that. And then it's like, all right, and then you just like scroll down, and oh, there's Jeopardy. You can play it. But like Netflix's layout changes every time you open it, so it's not like you can just tell her like scroll down too, and then Jeopardy will be there. Because next time she scrolls down, it's gonna be like,
Oh yeah, the continue watching list isn't always in the same place.
no. And so she's gonna like scroll down, and it's gonna be like, watch, Orange is the New Black. And she's gonna phone me and be like, nah, yo, I couldn't find that Jeopardy show, so then I had to go, and I was watching this show about the lesbians, and they're in prison, and I'm like, oh my god, okay. This is why this is a bad thing. Because I'm gonna get a phone call
From your grandma.
about how she can't find Jeopardy.
Wow.
But then like you could just put it on the cable box. It was on at 7 o'clock on channel 12, and then that's how you would find it. But then now they put the new box in, and it's stupid, and I don't know how to use it. Can't turn it on. Yeah. I'm watching Sabrina. Also.
Oh yes, the chilling adventures.
I didn't know how to get out of that bit, so I just left it.
That
I just slammed
no,
the door
was,
in its face.
that was the only way to do it. It's fine. We're moving on. It's all right.
Yeah, I've been watching the chilling adventures of Sabrina. Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
I don't love it.
Yeah. I haven't seen all of it, but while my wife was watching some, I decided to spend time with her by sitting down and watching with her, and I was like, oh, this sucks, but I'm just gonna eat my food and read stuff on my phone. It's not that it was terrible, but like
it's just too long.
I wasn't drawn into it. Yeah, I guess
Every episode is like 60 minutes, and there's not enough story to justify there being 60 minutes worth of content each episode. Like they should really
it's
be
not
doing...
like Stranger Things where like there's so much packed into every moment.
No, it's like it should be a half hour.
Yeah.
This is a show that would benefit from the constraints of traditional broadcast television requirements.
I see.
Being like 22 to 24 minutes.
Right.
And having to fit in there. I think it's... Yeah.
And do you ever remember watching did you ever watch the animated Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
I don't never watched the animated one, but I watched the Melissa Joan Hart one. Like the live action one.
Oh, I don't remember that.
That was on in the 90s. I remember watching that. And that was... I mean, okay, what I like about this one is that they've, like, Sabrina the Teenage Witch was always kind of like, oh, she's like a teenager and she can do magic. And
it
gets her into wacky adventures.
It was like akin to Mona the Vampire. Right?
A little bit, yeah. And this is like... Sabrina and her family are witches, which means that they're in league with Satan.
Yeah.
And Satan
fucking dark.
Is just hanging out and is a goat man. And you're gonna go to witch school to learn the satanic arts.
Yep.
And they throw Satan around a lot, and I kind of love it. Because I'm like,
definitely the dark route.
Yeah, well, I'm like, that's a bold move, Cotton. Like, let's see how it pans out for them. And so far,
Well,
I will.
You gonna watch it to the end though?
I think it's only 10 episodes, and I think I'm on episode 6, so I'm like, I might as well. It's just I've been like chipping away at it.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've sat through an entire episode in one sitting. I think I've kind of just done it like piece by piece, where I've just like paused it.
That's not a good sign.
It's not a good sign, but it's entertaining while I'm watching it. It's just at a certain point, I stop being entertained, and then I leave, and then I come back later when I've had some time to not be watching it, and then I can watch it again and be like, ah, that was good.
Okay.
Um, what else? Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, I saw some movies in the theater actually. I once saw First Man, which is about Neil Armstrong.
Oh.
Neil, not Lance.
No.
Neil Armstrong, first man on the moon. And that was pretty decent. Ryan Gosling is in it.
He is handsome.
Yeah, he's good and he's a good actor. I like him a lot, and he's good in this. He does more than his like, because like Ryan Gosling is one of those guys where like he has like a facial expression that's neutral, and he'll use that to like kind of convey any sort of emotion.
Are you saying his face doesn't change?
When he's doing his like serious roles, he gets these like he always kind of plays it like very like stoic,
Okay.
where he's like, I'm feeling emotions, but I'm not gonna project them out right now. And this is kind of a trait of his.
Okay.
Yeah. But he doesn't do that much in this movie, which I like.
Hmm.
So that was good. Um, yeah. Anything else? Anything else you've seen?
I don't think that's it for news.
All right. Um, well, one bit of sad news that actually happened last week or this past weekend, I think actually. Stan Lee passed away.
That's right. I
Yeah.
was I was washing dishes at work, and one of my coworkers came out of the bathroom and said, "Hey, Stan Lee just died."
That's like that.
Just like that. And I was like, "Uh, what?" And I like almost dropped the plate that I was holding. He's like, "Yeah, like 30 minutes ago, Stan Lee just died." And then he walked away. And I was like, oh,
Wow.
what? Just wait, what?" But I like had to keep working. I was on the clock,
Yeah.
and I was just in a weird headspace for the next like hour or two.
Yeah. I was also at your place of work. Um,
Oh yeah, you were out in the cafe.
yeah, I was out there working on a script, and your wife was there also working on homework. And I think she'd got up to get like some water or something or go to the bathroom or whatever. But she came back and she was like, Stan Lee's dead. I'm like, what?
The same guy told her.
Oh, yeah.
I bet. Yeah.
And I was like, she's like, yeah, he just died. And I was like, what? Like now? She's like, yeah, like today. And I was like, oh, that's horrible. She's like, yeah. Do you kind of feel like what's the point?
That's what she said to me.
Yeah.
I did not hear
She
this.
said, you kind of feel like what's the point? And I'm like, she's like, in anything. I'm like, yeah, a little bit,
No.
maybe. So yeah, no,
Oh man.
I don't have any personal connection to Stanley. I've never, met the guy or anything, but
Same.
yeah, it was really, there's been a huge, obviously, outpouring of, love and support for the man on the internet, and fans coming and sharing stories. And Kevin Smith did like a 2 hour like wake kind of live podcast thing,
Oh wow.
where it was like him and one of his Mark Bernardin was there, and they just like sort of like swapped Stan Lee stories, and then got like fans to share some of their stories and stuff too. So if you wanna remember the dude, that I'd recommend checking that out for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna Google that later. I'd love to watch that.
Um,
Watch and or listen to.
it's really good. Yeah, you can watch it on YouTube. It's filmed. You can watch
Okay,
it on
cool.
YouTube or
Yeah.
just have it on in the background or something like that. But yeah, it's cool. He's this kind of marks the end of an era in a way of like, I mean, Jack Kirby died a while ago, but like Steve Ditko died this year, also famous Spider-Man artist and
Yeah.
Fantastic Four artist, and then now Stan Lee's gone. It's kind of like the three kings of comic books are sort of, uh, you know, are sort of gone, and that's kind of they basically built Marvel Comics as we know it, and like the comic book industry as we know it in a way, and yeah, and you know he was just such a champion for like fans, and always like super supportive of and encouraging, and like always made time for his fans, and you know so many stories about like, oh yeah, I bumped into Stanley on the street and asked if I could take a photo, and he was like, oh, of course. And
That's awesome.
yeah, things like that, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
I wonder, are there still cameos of his that we haven't seen then?
yeah, they started kind of shooting them in batches as he was aging, and it was harder and harder for him to travel because they shoot all their movies in Atlanta, I think. And you know he lived in California, obviously, so it was kind of he'd fly down and shoot 4 or 5 at a time, kind of thing.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
yeah, so I think there's a Captain Marvel 1 and Avengers 4, and I don't know if there's anything else because I don't think anything else is shooting yet. Oh, Spider-Man. The next Spider-Man movie is shooting actually. So there might be one in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm really curious to know what they're like. Like if they're just gonna be really simple and he's just there and it's just gonna be like, oh, Stan Lee, and it's gonna be sad, or if it's gonna be something ridiculous like his cameo in Thor Ragnarok, where he's like,
yeah,
some crazy dude with a machine to give Thor a psycho haircut. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, because his cameos kind of vary. Like sometimes he is like that, and sometimes he's just kind of like in the background or like
or
reading a newspaper.
Like a dude on the street.
Like I think, like Doctor Strange, he's just like on the bus reading a newspaper, kind of like chuckling to himself, and like Doctor Strange like hits the window of the bus and is like splattered on the side and like gets dragged off or something like that.
Yeah.
And then sometimes he gets a couple of lines, but yeah. Nothing as bad as that Spider-Man 3 cameo, though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Still trying to forget Spider-Man 3.
Yeah, it's one we never will. Anyways, yeah. So, rest in peace, Stan. Let us move on, I guess, to the movie that we watched.
Yeah. No fun segue this segment. Couldn't think of anything.
No.
Well, Stanley's dead. Speaking of viruses.
Speaking of dead. We watched a movie about zombies.
Oh, you made it sad.
You see, I didn't want to do the segue. Because the movie is about people coming back from the dead, and it's a little raw. Okay? Raw like the flesh that they like to eat.
Here it is.
Nailed it. We watched Resident Evil.
Ooh, yeah.
Deep underground, in a top secret research lab, security has been breached. A deadly virus capable of contaminating the entire world has been released.
Oh my god.
We have to get out of this building. Who's that? It's the brakes!
It's okay, we're here to help.
Now, an elite team has been sent in to stop it.
5 hours ago, Red Queen went homicidal.
Who's the Red Queen?
State-of-the-art artificial intelligence.
The corporation's keeping a few secrets down here.
But they have only 3 hours left before it begins infecting and mutating the whole human race.
Everyone stay calm.
You have to get out.
Don't listen to anything she says. She's a holographic representation of the Red Queen.
She may be our only way out of here.
she's still standing.
She isn't standing now.
No one is immune. Resident Evil.
You're all going to die down here.
Yeah, so you haven't seen this Resident Evil before.
I had never seen the first Resident Evil movie. I had seen some scenes in it dubbed over by Knox's Corner and made fun of.
Right, of course.
So there were a few things I recognized, but I'd never seen the actual movie.
Do you think anyone knows what Knox's Corner is anymore?
I highly doubt it, but if you do, please email into the show.
Yeah, email into the show, retrocrappod@gmail.com.
Let us know how much you loved Knox's Corner.
Yeah.
Or hated it. That's fine too.
That's also fine. Or if you are Knox's Corner,
and you happen to be listening to this podcast,
also email in
so that we can congratulate you on your genius.
But prove it also somehow. I liked the Matrix dubs better than the.
Oh yeah, they were easily better.
Yeah, yeah.
He's gonna go kill the cat. Cats aren't supposed to talk.
Cats aren't supposed to talk. Yeah.
Resident Evil.
Let's get back to it. Yeah. So you'd never seen this one, but you have seen a Resident Evil movie.
I remember at one point being sick, going on Netflix and watching a Resident Evil movie and being like,
Okay.
"This is."
I think they've all been on there
Pulp.
at one point or another. So
Oh, okay.
I don't even know if I could tell you which one it is. Based on what you told me about what you remember from it, I think it's either 2 or 3.
Guess we'll find out when we get to those ones at some point in the future.
Yeah, I think we're gonna make our way through all of them.
Are there only 3?
No, there's 6.
Oh no.
And I have seen 5 of them.
So
I
it's gonna be one.
stopped- I kind of stopped after 3 because they started to just. I don't know if they got worse, but they started to look worse. Like
They looked worse than this one.
like I was watching no, like like visually they looked better,
Okay.
but just like the trailer. I remember watching the trailer for 4 and being like, this looks so stupid.
Oh, I see.
But then my roommate at the time recommended watching the 5th one, because he kind of had a thing for Mila Jovovich, and so he would watch any movie that she was in and give it a glowing review. So I went to see it at the Dolphin Cinema in Burnaby.
Oh.
Because they had 2 screens, and every Tuesday it was Toonie Tuesday.
Toonie Tuesday.
And
Glorious.
so I made a habit of like going to see a movie every week, regardless of what was playing. I pretty much went every Tuesday, unless there was like nothing good playing. But I had
It's just a Toonie though, so like.
yeah, I had a 50-50 shot of being entertained.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I went to see it, and I remember like I was like on my phone during it, and like there's only like 4 other people in the theater, I think. So I'm just like on my phone, like bored, like checking the time. Like I remember looking up the runtime of the movie at one point to be like, how much longer do I have to sit here?
Oh gosh.
It was awful.
Brutal.
It was so bad, and so I never went to see the last one.
Well, that'll be fun when we eventually get to it.
I know it'll be
Neither of us
fresh.
will have seen it, unless that happens to be the one I've seen, in which case that would kind of suck.
Oh, we're gonna have to get through the 5th one again, though. Anyways,
Yeah, but we'll take like 2 years. This podcast will last forever, I'm sure.
yeah. And so I watched the 4th one in preparation for going to see the 5th one in the theater. So that's the only reason I've seen all of them. But this one is great. Kind of.
Yeah, kind of.
I've seen it several times, and even like prepping to see it this time, I was thinking like, do I like this movie? I can't remember. And I don't know.
Yeah, that's the sentiment that I have as well.
Yeah, and I'm sure the next time I go to watch it, I'll have the same
It
conversation
will
in my
still
brain
be unanswered.
where I'm like, do I like this movie?
Well, I think that's the point of our podcast right now is to try to answer that question.
Yeah.
How do we rate this movie?
Um,
Ultimately, I feel like there's not that much to talk about.
no.
Like I made 2 notes, and one of them was yours.
Okay, we'll get to my note.
And the only note that I made for myself was that I was legitimately intrigued at the beginning.
Yeah, so the beginning is cool. And I think that after the beginning, it really goes downhill.
Oh yeah.
So it starts in like an office building. Well, no, first it starts with some text telling you what the Umbrella Corporation is and,
Yeah.
and who they are.
Bit of setting there.
And that they are the leading provider of like healthcare and home security. Is that
I think
home
technology,
technology? Yeah,
medical science,
healthcare provider.
Yeah.
Like, but secretly, unbeknownst to everyone, including their own employees, they actually,
They get all their money from military shit.
contracts and chemical weapons and
what's the word?
like viral.
Yeah, like experimentation.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Shady shit.
Some shady shit going down in this building.
Umbrella Corp.
So it opens in this office building where you see like a lab. You see like a lab, and there's like vials with stuff in them, and so there's like someone in like one of those suits pulling out a case full of like different vials, and he takes one and he just like whips it across the room and it smashes, and then he leaves, and then the computer security system recognizes that there's been like a biohazard leak and is like got to put everything on lockdown, and so like seals all the doors in the buildings and like shuts down the elevators and like kills people in the elevators for some reason.
Yes.
Like
The entire facility is controlled by an AI who like sees that this very specific containment leak has occurred and is like, "Oh, I have to kill everyone."
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it sort of explains itself later where it's like I gotta contain the virus to like stop it from escaping.
And I think probably the computer would have realized, like, because of the virus and its nature, everyone who was down there was A, exposed, and B, going to die.
Yeah.
And so the computer kind of just like, I'm just gonna kill everyone right now.
Yeah, and so I'll like, shut down the elevators, and then when they're opening the door like halfway to try and like squeeze through, then I'll just turn the elevators back on and
take someone's head off.
Take someone's head clean off. So that's like the opening sequence where you kind of are like, ooh, okay. And then it cuts to what I think is a pretty intriguing opening. I think you kind of said the same as well, where you were like, oh yeah, I'm like genuinely curious.
Yeah,
as to
like
what's
I
happening.
really want to know what's going on. I want to know who threw that vial, and like I want to know who this character is that we're introduced to very suddenly.
Yeah, so it like you get like a hard cut to like someone's eye opening, and then you like pull back, and there's like this woman, and she's like naked and wrapped in a shower curtain and lying in on the floor of her shower, and you kind of get the idea. It's like, oh, maybe she like fainted in the shower or something like that, and she like gets up and like looks at herself in the mirror and puts on a robe and goes out into the bedroom, and there's like a notepad that has what does it have written on it?
Today, all your dreams come true.
Right. And so she like picks up the pen and starts writing the same sentence out, and it's like totally different handwriting. And so she kind of like stops halfway through and like crosses that out, and it's kind of you can kind of tell that's where you sort of start to tell, like, oh, she has amnesia.
Yeah, she like looks at a picture of her and someone else, and like doesn't understand what she's looking at.
Yeah, and opens a drawer in her dresser, and there's just like machine guns in there.
So many guns.
um,
She was very startled.
yeah, and there's a red dress just laid out on the
I'm assuming she laid it out for herself before she got in the shower.
before she got in the shower. Probably. So she like throws that on, and she's like wandering through this mansion. It's like a pretty nice house.
It's pretty fucking awesome.
Very huge, yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice mansion.
It kind of looks like the Lincoln Memorial building.
Yeah, which is a moment where she flicks on the lights and we get a shot from outside of all the lights coming on.
Yeah.
It looks, yeah.
It's got like columns and a little dome.
Mm-hmm. It's fancy.
Very presidential. And then was that you? Oh, okay. Don't do that. And then the stupid SWAT team busts in
Yes.
with no warning. And I made you write that note down.
Literally says, stupid SWAT team busts in. I didn't have to write it down. You said it word for word.
Because because I had this screenwriting professor who was like, he had this bit that he kept coming back to, and we eventually started calling it the stupid SWAT team bit. Because he would be like, this is how you like set up a compelling, introduction to a character in a scenario, and then there's like the dumb way to do it. And this movie does both of them. And literally do his example of having a SWAT team just bust in out of nowhere, because like he would always say, like, like, this is not how you do it. You're like, John, in his mid-30s, handsome, sits alone in his apartment sipping whiskey. Suddenly the SWAT team busts in. It's like, you're not expecting that to ever happen, so it's surprising, but it's not interesting, right?
No.
He's like, what you should do is, and would go on to be like, John, in his 30s, sits in his apartment sipping whiskey. He opens a briefcase and pulls out some files, and you start to like set up a kind of a narrative, right? He takes the files, he reads them once, he throws them in the fireplace. You start to like lay clues, and then all of a sudden, if the SWAT team busts in, then at least you're like, oh no, why is the SWAT team here? Are they here for the files? Why was he burning the files?
Yes.
Who was, and so this is like,
Didn't you know what he knows?
Woman wakes up on the shower floor in a huge mansion, doesn't know who she is, has a drawer full of guns, and then the SWAT team busts in, and the movie starts.
Yeah,
but it's not.
It's funny. That's also kind of how. Remember Ultraviolet? Ultraviolet. There's just a SWAT team that busts in through the windows of the building at the beginning.
Yeah.
It's also, except it's worse then, because they bust in through a magic ball.
Yeah, right. I don't remember a lot of Ultraviolet.
That's for the best. Yeah, SWAT team busts in.
Yeah, so the SWAT team busts in.
Stupid SWAT team busts in.
And is like, give me your mission report. Who are you talking to?
Yeah, report now, soldier. They say to her.
She's like, I don't know what's going on. Like
and also some other dude was there moments before.
Yes, she goes outside at one point because she thinks she hears something, and then she comes back inside, and like he like tackles her to the ground, and then the SWAT team busts in.
Yeah, something like that.
It happens real fast. There's a lot of like real fast
happenings,
like kinetic editing.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of around. I think Bad Boys probably come out a couple years before this. So then they take them down into the Hive, which is the building that we see at the beginning. Turns out it wasn't a skyscraper. It was an underground thing.
Yeah.
And
underground facility beneath Raccoon City.
They had to go with the name, right?
Yeah.
It's a really dumb name.
It's terrible.
And I don't know if that's like a hangover from like the Japanese version of the game,
Maybe.
like calling it Raccoon City. Um, but yeah, it's
It's a dumb name.
it's a dumb name. But then the movie basically plays out the way you'd expect it to.
Yep. SWAT team goes in to figure out what happened and like shut down the AI that closed off the facility.
Yeah.
And
then there's zombies.
And there's zombies because of the virus that got loose.
Yeah. So I think maybe instead of going through like plot point by plot point, because again we said there's not a lot. Let's just go like it was like top 3 things we liked, and then maybe do like top 3 dumb things that happened that we didn't like.
Yeah, that sounds good. Because the overall the plot's real boring.
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
Yeah. I think I can start with one of my
Sure.
top 3 things I did not like.
Yeah.
Again, the setting started really intriguing. I wanted to know what this corporation was doing. I wanted to know who sabotaged them. I wanted to know who our heroine was. The SWAT team busts in. That didn't necessarily ruin it for me. I was still like, oh, more crazy shit. Maybe too much, but I still really want to know what's happening. And then there's just before they like bust into the hive, Mila Jovovich's character, I don't even know her name. I don't know anyone's name in this movie.
Alice.
It's Alice.
Her name's Alice. I don't know if they ever say that in this movie.
I don't remember it coming up.
Anyways, it's definitely Alice.
Because she didn't know who she was, and no one knew who she was.
Yeah.
So Alice.
She might not find out her name until the second movie.
Oh. She doesn't remember her name?
Yeah, she might not. It's definitely... Anyways, it's definitely Alice.
Okay, cool. So Alice. We'll go with that. This is the point where Alice just, like, demands to know what's happening from, like, the head SWAT guy.
Yeah.
And then he tells her.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, so that was Umbrella Corp, and it's all underground, and there was a leak, and it sealed everyone off, and they're gonna go deal with it. Oh, so now I know most of what's happening.
Yeah, she was a security.
She was a security detail in that mansion, which was a secret entrance to the hive.
To the hive, yeah,
like
right.
An emergency entrance.
Right, and she was supposed to just hang out there and make sure no one used the emergency entrance.
Yep, she was just the guard.
Yeah,
living a secret or like a fake life in a mansion.
Yeah, being fake married to James Purefoy.
Yep.
Who they find once they get down to the hive. He's on the train that kind of takes you to the hive.
He was also unconscious and also lost his memory.
Yeah. Now that does kind of... It doesn't 100% ruin what happens, because you do later learn that he's the one that released the virus and stole the virus and the antivirus, and was he going to... What was his plan? Was it to shut down Umbrella?
So it was like there were some things that we didn't know, mostly about Alice and the dude that she was fake married to that lived in the mansion together, because they had lost their memories. That was the only thing that was kind of left, and we got little flashes of that, and I still kind of enjoyed that. Right. But essentially we learned that Alice was planning on taking down Umbrella Corp with someone else who like got into Umbrella Corp to like steal stuff from the inside, I guess, and needed Alice to like be able to get out. But her fake husband overheard them. Well, I say overheard, but he was using like spy microphone technology to like hear them from across many acres.
Yeah.
And instead of letting them steal it and take down Umbrella Corp, he went ahead and stole it himself. But he wanted to like sell it. Like, I think
it sounded like he already had money though, or had been paid, because when they kind of figured out at the end, and he's like, "We could, you can come with me," like to Alice. He's like, you can come with me. We can have whatever life we want. Like there's money, so much money,
Like you wouldn't believe.
like you wouldn't believe. And so
I think he's referring to selling the pirates.
he's referring to selling it. Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
We are told a little
I
earlier
thought maybe that
it would be worth like tons on the black market.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe he had money already or had already been paid for it or something like that. But no. Okay, that makes sense then. Never mind. Cool. What's something I didn't like? I mean there's a lot. I didn't like the CGI monster at the end, the Lickitung, whatever.
The evil Lickitung.
The evil Lickitung from hell.
I don't choose you.
Yeah. It's big and pink and has a huge tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Much less friendly looking though. Lickitung looks very friendly.
Yeah. You want to get licked by Lickitung.
Well, you don't.
You don't?
No, he like paralyzes you.
Oh, right. Okay.
At least this thing didn't paralyze you when it licked you.
Yeah, it just eats you.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't like that. It's my least favorite part of at least, well, I mean, maybe not anymore, but it certainly was. Like I remember like I'm wanting to watch these movies because I wanted to see like a dope zombie movie, and then they always throw in like weird mutated monsters and stuff, and I'm like, that's dumb. I don't want this. And even like playing some of the Resident Evil games, they started to get more and more into that, and I'm like, I just want a survival horror zombie game. Like I just want to not have to like die. That's all I want. I don't want like a giant, thing with like a huge claw chasing me, or like
mutant
weird tentacles coming out of people's heads and stuff like that. Like I just want to shoot some zombies and run away.
But Umbrella Corp was doing genetic experiments, so there was just weird shit down there.
Yeah, so that's probably my least favorite part of this movie.
Okay.
Is because the CGI is real bad.
Oh, it's terrible. Early 2000s and CGI.
And it's not like, it did not have a high budget. So and I guess that kind of leads into thing 2 that I didn't like, is that the movie just looks bad.
Yeah. Interesting setting. It was a really intriguing beginning. Like there's some decent writing, I think, but it looks terrible.
Poor direction.
Yeah.
You can tell. I think this is my problem with it. Like it was made on a low budget, and they didn't have a lot of money, and you can tell because it's lit poorly and it's shot poorly.
Yeah.
Like the sets are like so overly lit all the time that you can just tell that they suck and that they ran out of money or didn't have enough money to build cool sets, so they had shitty cheap, like I'm thinking about in particular the room where they first run into like the zombie hordes with all the the tanks.
All the tanks holding the genetic experiments.
Like that room looks so bad.
Yeah, it was pretty terrible.
It's just like
it didn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so this is just like a big warehouse, and you filled it with like 6 or 7 like weird
square
tanks, and then you threw some dryer hose around.
Lots of tubes
on
everywhere.
the ground. There's just so many tubes everywhere. It's just like threw a bunch of dryer hose down, and then your idiot cinematographer is just like, let's just top light everything. So let's light everything up. I want to see every just the fact that it's just a concrete floor with some dryer hose on it. Like that. Oh, that set I hated so much.
Not great.
Not great. The labs are probably the ones that look the best.
Yeah.
But that's because I assume they just found a lab somewhere.
They look like labs.
Oh my goodness. To cut that out.
Please do.
All right, what's another thing you didn't like?
I really didn't like that the AI was called the Red Queen.
Red Queen.
The Red Queen cool name, diabolical, like, well, not even diabolical, just like really like realistic. Like, oh, I can't let this do out. I need to kill it. I can't let this virus get out. It will destroy the
Yeah.
world. I need to kill everyone.
Yeah.
Just like really cold. Named the Red Queen. Pretty cool. But represented by a little girl. And I felt like that was really cliche. Like that was forced.
Oh,
And it was
okay.
like really like this crappy, really terrible hologram of a little girl like shows up. And of course she's British. She's a British little girl.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Why are you going to shut me down? That was terrible. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
I've been a bad, bad girl.
Oh yeah, she says that at one point.
Yeah.
And I just felt like, oh, that's fucking stupid. And like, there's just a throwaway line to be like, oh yeah, it's the visual representation of the Red Queen. It's based off the lead programmer's daughter.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, but who let that lead programmer do that? I think that's bullshit. Why does there need to be the hologram? And why would you give it? Like, it's such a big corporation, such an important AI. Why would you give it this little British girl's voice? I think it's stupid. And
Yeah.
it's just to be a little bit more creepy, I think. That's why.
Yeah, there's no
like,
board meeting where they're like, do we have to have, the girl from The Exorcist be the representation of our supercomputer that runs the brain of our entire building.
yeah, it controls every door.
Yeah. Like, why don't you just make it like twins? Just to make it
Yeah, that sounds even better. Let's do that.
Programmers driving their big wheel around the hallway. All of a sudden, around the corner, just the Red Queen twins are standing.
Yep.
Like,
So fucking creepy. Yeah, I thought that was dumb and that was forced.
yeah. I guess one more thing, or do you have one more thing you didn't like? Because I kind of did too.
I guess that was it was 2 for me.
I have one. I can go.
Yeah, you go.
Okay. I don't like Michelle Rodriguez.
Like as a human.
I'm sure she's a wonderful person who gives to charity, but I as an actor, I think she's so dull all the time, because she's always the same character.
Yeah,
all the
she's
time.
one of those.
Yeah.
Where she just plays the same character.
Yeah, like she's the same in this as she is in the movie SWAT, as she is in Lost, as she is in Fast and Furious. Like, she's the tough chick who does tough chick shit, and you don't fuck with her.
I want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Like, she's this typecast, and she keeps getting the same character to play. But like, there's too many examples.
Yeah.
In that list that it's like,
like Lost is maybe the most nuanced role that she got.
Probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's the first time I saw her, so every subsequent time has been worse.
I think, yeah, no, definitely.
Why did she get billing? She's on the front of the DVD.
She was a thing for a while, man. Like, early 2000s, like Michelle Rodriguez. She was like a name. She was in a movie called Girl Fight, which was like a kind of a big, like quasi indie kind of thing. I think it might have done like came out of Sundance or something like that.
Does she play the tough chick?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's about like boxing, I think, or I've never seen it. I remember seeing the DVD, and it looked kind of like Fight Club. Like, it was kind of like had that like green orange kind of like acid wash look. And, yeah. So she was in a movie like that, and then she kind of just did like a run of like, she was in like the Fast and Furious, and then she did like Blue Crush, and she was in this, and there's probably another one that I'm forgetting. She was in SWAT. I know that. So yeah, she was kind of like a thing for a while. There was a time where her agent could argue to have her name be above the title.
Oh, well, cool. I didn't know.
Not anymore, though.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Well, are you done?
Yeah.
My thing number 3 is definitely just gonna have to be, and I remembered his name while I was thinking. Actually, I remembered a character's name.
Oh.
His name is Max, and he is the character who we saw suddenly just before the SWAT team came in.
The
He said
the
he says
cop?
he says he's a cop.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's ever confirmed.
Nope.
The SWAT team doesn't know who he is, so they put him in handcuffs and they take him along. We learn that his sister was the person that Alice was helping to take down Umbrella Corp.
Yeah.
And she definitely got turned into a zombie because she died in the facility.
Yeah.
And Mila kills her. But this character does not matter.
Kills her with like a glass cube to the brain.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah. It's just like and it looks really pretty too.
Yeah.
Like it's a really beautiful paperweight or something.
Well, I think it's one of those things where it's like there's a cube, but then there's like an image inside of it. You know?
Yeah, it
You
looked
ever seen
like
those.
Yeah, I have. Yeah. Smash.
Yeah.
But yeah, his character is bland and dumb. Like I don't understand what he does to the plot at all. Like,
I do.
Okay, what is it?
I remembered at the very end because I'd turned to you at one point and made a comment where I was like, every time I watch this movie, I just forget that he exists.
You just think of her and the SWAT team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I remember Michelle Rodriguez, and I remember the captain, and I remember the hacker guy, and I remember James Purefoy because he's James Purefoy.
Oh.
Yeah, I totally forgot this because he doesn't do anything.
Doesn't do anything.
He doesn't do anything except at the very end he gets scratched by the lick-a-tongue, and when the guys in the hazmat suits come in at the very, very end of the movie.
Yeah, they finally escape the hive. It's just Alice and Max.
Yeah.
And he starts to react to his scratch. And then boom, a SWAT team busts in.
Like, yes, it happens again, except this time they're the hazmat team.
Yeah.
And they're like they like drag him away, and his like arm is kind of like twitching, and like little tentacles start coming out of the scratches.
Yeah.
And they're like, he's mutating. Let's put him in the Nemesis program. And then they wheel him off. And then I remembered, oh yeah, in the next movie, she fights a character called Nemesis, which is this giant big like ogre like thing that has a minigun. And it's him. And at some point she figures out it's him. I don't remember how, but I remember watching the second one at one point. Like I rented it probably from Roger's Video.
Classic.
And I'm watching it and she goes, Max, it's you, or something like that. And I'm like, who the fuck is Max? I don't remember.
Not a memorable character.
like literally, I'm not even making this up. Like I remember like sitting there being like, who in the last movie? Is this a guy? And then I think they like show him in a flashback. And I'm like,
nope, got nothing.
No, it just didn't register. Yeah. So anyways, that's why he's in the movie. So that he can get scratched at the very end and turn into Nemesis.
But like imagine this, if you will.
Okay, all right.
Mr. Purefoy.
Yeah.
Who gets his memory back eventually and betrays them.
Oh, yeah.
But then is killed by that monster.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't actually get killed by that monster.
Oh.
They think he's dead and his mangled body is on the train and they escape. His mangled body mutates, and in the next movie, she has to face him a second time, and he's Nemesis.
Oh, yeah, that'd be better.
That'd be way fucking better.
That'd be way fucking better.
Because Max does nothing in this movie,
Mm-hmm.
and apparently in the next movie, he gets to be a monster.
Yeah.
And she has to realize, oh no, it's Max. But who gives a shit?
No one gives a shit.
Because Max is a dumb nothing character and has no relationship with Alice.
Because everyone in the movie theater when that happened, they goes, "Oh my god, it's Max." They're like, "Who the fuck is Max?"
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
So
No, that'd be way better.
Dumb character.
I don't know why they didn't do that. Learn how to write screenplays, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I don't know how to write screenplays, and I came up with that instantly.
Yeah, there you go. That's called oh, there's a term for it. Is it a buried gun or is it I can't remember. There's a fancy screenwriting term for it.
Cool.
I don't know if it happens over, if it counts if it happens over 2 movies, but anyways,
So that was my thing number 3 of why it sucked.
of why it sucked.
So now let's change gears.
Yes.
And talk about what we liked about the movie.
Yeah.
We've already talked about how the
beginning was almost really like the intro. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love when they are in the hallway and the laser beams start coming to get them.
The hallway just before the computer base for the Red Queen, the main
CPU kind of thing where they're going to shut her down. She activates some defenses that's like lasers traveling along, just above the, like ankle height in the hallway. Like
the first one's just straight up head height.
Oh, is it head height?
Yeah, the first one's they're in the hallway. They've got the big EMP thing, and then the doors lock, and all of a sudden, what's that? And this laser starts coming, and the captain's like, hit the deck, but the person in the back was looking at the opposite door. Looks too late, and like one of them as he goes down, he gets some of his fingers cut off.
Right.
And the captain's like, medic, and calls out to the woman who's the medic of the team. And like she just looks stunned, and then we start to see from the back of her neck it starts to separate, and then her head just falls off.
I forgot that there was another woman on the team.
Yeah, she.
I think I was
doesn't do that
texting
much
during that part.
Oh yeah, and then she dies. Right?
Yeah, but the best part of that. Oh, so then the lasers start like changing heights. Right, it comes in at angle height, and one guy like goes to jump over it, and it
just goes
jumps
with him,
jumps up and like cuts him in half.
Yeah.
But then the best part is when the captain has like managed to avoid the laser. He grabs up onto the roof and like does like a pull up kind of thing, and pulls his legs up and everything, so it goes underneath him and like cuts his knife off his belt, right? And it's like, oh, it's so close, and he's like gonna get ready to dodge it again, and then it just turns into a grid. And he's like, oh shit, and he just gets cubed.
Yep.
And you can like see at one point like his eye kind of starts leaking, and there's like lines start appearing on his face, and he just like falls apart. But like they like pan away from that, so you kind of like see Alice's reaction.
We see like half of his head, and then the focus fades the focus switches to behind him.
Yeah.
And then he falls.
And you can see like an out of focus reflection in the stainless steel door a little bit too. It like crumbles, and I love that because
it's pretty sick.
It's pretty sick, but also, that same actor is in Alien vs. Predator, which is also directed by Paul W.S. Anderson.
Yep.
Like 2 years later, and he also in that movie gets trapped in a predator net. And the predator net like constricts on him and starts to cut like a grid into his face. And so I don't know what it is about this actor that like Paul W.S. Anderson is like, I gotta kill this guy in
gotta cube him.
Perfect symmetrical grid. I gotta turn him into a human, like Jenga thing. Like
yeah, I think we mentioned that in our AVP episode too.
Probably, yeah.
But yeah, now we're on the other one.
Bringing
where
it
he gets cubed hard.
Full circle. Yeah. So I liked that scene quite a bit. What about you? You got anything?
I'm struggling a bit.
All right, I got another one.
Okay.
There's the scene with the Dobermans, the zombie Dobermans.
Yeah.
The suits on the Dobermans are terrible.
Oh my gosh! Like I kind of appreciate that they used real dogs.
Yeah.
For some of it, but it looks real bad.
But it's like a little like meat
jacket
that they kind of just like draped over them.
Yeah, it's terrible.
And this like flapping around as they run, and it's great. But there's a scene where I think it's like that scene where she kind of realizes that she's she was like trained in combat or whatever, because she's running from the dogs, and she slams the door, and a zombie attacks her, and she like karate kicks him into a glass shelf, and it shatters.
She kicks the shit out of him.
And she's like, oh shit, I'm a karate security guard person. And she like takes his gun and like shoots a bunch of the dogs, but there's like still one left. And then because the Matrix came out 3 years ago, she has to like run up the wall and do this like spinning kick to like kick this dog in the face and kill it. And it's like they just like threw a rubber dog at her and
Yep.
got her to kick it out of midair, and it's terrible and I love it.
It was stupendous.
It's so
Yeah.
stupid. I love it so much. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, I think one of the things I appreciate, I do actually appreciate the development of Alice's character kind of over the process of the movie. Well, maybe development's not the right word, but like there's still some mystery around her, and we get little pieces here and there. And I mean, like before it's over, she's already just like the like kill 'em up badass girl, and there's not really much more to be developed. But then also the way the movie really ends is like, so like she wakes up in the shower, we see her eyeball, and then she wakes up in the shower and she doesn't know who she is, and we go through all this shit. After the whole hazmat thing, we see her eyeball again and she wakes up again. This time she's in some weird lab room, and she has to leave, and she finds out that she's in a hospital, and then she goes out again, and it really feels like it was starting over again.
Yeah.
We're obviously supposed to lead up to the second movie.
Oh yeah, the game is on at the end of this one for
Yeah,
sure.
but then she goes out and it's Raccoon City, and like the hazmat guys too were like, instead of asking the two survivors what happened down there, we just hear them say like, "Oh, we got to get back into the hive, figure out what happened."
Yeah.
And she goes out, she's in Raccoon City, and everyone's dead, and there's chaos and shit everywhere. And she finds a shotgun, and you know, pans out. The city looks like shit, and we're like, oh yeah, shit's about to go down.
And then Slipknot happens.
And then, yes,
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Do you want to talk about that outfit that she's wearing at the very end?
I mean,
the two pieces of poster board that are like tied to her body.
Yeah, it's like when you go to the dentist and they give you that weird papery bib.
Yeah, it's like two pieces of butcher paper.
Yeah, so she just got one over her front and one over her back so that they could be cutting into her sides, I guess.
I guess so. Or they could hook leads, because she had like needles and leads and like things on her temples. And
yeah, they were definitely monitoring everything they could.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then she finds a lab coat.
Weird outfit.
And puts that on. It is terrible.
Yeah.
Real downgrade in wardrobe there. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, okay. Speaking of wardrobe though, like this movie definitely knew how to sell itself to its audience. Because like the poster has like her in the short red dress and combat boots, or like the knee high like leather boots, holding a machine gun. Like, yes, every prepubescent boy wants to see that movie.
Absolutely.
So bad. Like I did. 100%. And then like the first scene that she's in, she's naked on the shower floor, right? Like,
yep.
Yeah, and so yeah, like they knew what they were doing. The piece of paper thing dress at the end though is weird. I don't.
Yeah, they knew what they were doing.
I remember even being like, 11 or 12, however old I was when this movie came out, and watching that and being like, that's weird.
That straight up looks very strange.
Why did they just give her a hospital gown?
Yeah, right? Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there's a specific third thing I like. I mean, we talked about the intro already.
Yeah, that counts as one.
So I think, yeah, those are kind of my three thumbs up moments that I give this movie. Yeah. Anything else that you think is worth mentioning?
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, it's kind of bad.
Yeah.
I wonder if they get better. I'm excited actually I was kind of thinking like maybe after we're done, I'm gonna watch the next one.
Just try it out.
Just see what happens. No, I probably won't. I gotta go to bed. But
Yeah, me too.
it's I wouldn't be surprised if we review another one soon, because I'd like to watch and see if they get better. But
Yeah, I'm curious enough. I'm curious enough to keep
mhm.
watching, but ultimately, this one,
Yeah, because like I said, I've seen the entire series, but I think I've only seen each of the other ones like once, maybe twice on a couple of them. This one I've seen multiple times, so
Okay.
I'm a little bit more familiar with it. But yeah, let's I'm gonna bring up the Rotten Tomatoes score. I
Oh,
think.
yes.
Should we do that first?
Yeah, let's do that.
Um, oh, perfect, Artie. I was looking it up. Yeah, where are we going? Well, why don't you uh take a stab?
All right, here's my random stab
Okay.
in the dark.
Yeah.
57.
Okay. Official Rotten Tomatoes score is no, it's lower than that.
41.
Oh wait, no, sorry.
Oh.
That's the franchise. Oh my god. Okay. It's definitely gonna be lower than that. Sorry,
Oh.
let me just. Is that? Yeah. Okay. Sorry, 41.
Hmm?
Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yeah. No, lower than that.
Ooh, how much lower are we talking here? Like a lot, or is it like 35? Is that
It's 34.
34?
34.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
So yeah, so I went to Rotten Tomatoes. I pulled up the page. I didn't realize the page I'd gone to was for the entire franchise. And so you said 56 or whatever,
7. Yeah.
57, and I looked at it, and I was looking at it. It says 38, and I'm like, oh man, no, it's way lower than that. And then I realized, oh wait, no, this is the franchise thing, and this is the highest rated movie in the franchise. Is the last one,
And it's 38.
and it's 38.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh
So
boy.
yeah, real bad.
Oh,
67% approval rating from the audience though. So
yeah, I figured it would at least be somewhat popular still.
the people who like this kind of stuff would probably like this.
Yes, that is very accurate.
Yeah. Cool.
So what are you thinking? What are you thinking for rating? What are you leaning towards?
I'm gonna go Craptacular.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I will watch it again
Hmm.
and probably enjoy myself about as much as I did this time.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's not a lot. I don't enjoy it a lot, but I definitely, it's not good, but I would, yeah, I find it entertaining enough, and there's enough moments like the kicking the rubber dog and
Oh my god.
the cubing a man
Yeah.
to death. So
Yeah, ultimately like it wasn't so bad that it was good, but it wasn't really bad and it wasn't really good. So as far as like our three rating system, it's rather rigid in that.
you
But
gotta stay. Yeah,
but like
we're not
we're not
yeah.
adding, I know. And so I think I'm gonna have to join you in Craptacular.
It's Craptacular.
Because ultimately, yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't great, but if someone was like, "Oh, I've never seen Resident Evil, should I?" I'd be like, "Yeah, let's go watch it together." Yeah.
Yeah, how much time you got?
Yeah.
For sure. There's a good amount of like action movie one-liners in it too that totally fall flat.
Yeah.
Like when they shoot like the first zombie woman, he's like, "I shot her 5 times, she's still standing." Like, bitch isn't standing now. Stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Michelle Rodriguez.
things like that. Cool. I think that brings us to the end of the episode then.
Indeed.
We'll be back next month with probably a Christmas themed movie of some sort.
Well, yeah.
Christmas is next month.
Christmas.
I know. So with that in mind, if you like the show, you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, at retrocrappod, retrocrappod@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with the show. We don't have any mail this week, but that's all right. Yeah, send us, any questions you want us to answer, comments. If you've seen any of these movies, you have any thoughts, you want us to read them out on air, we will do that. Yeah. You can find the show anywhere you find podcasts. If you don't mind giving us a rating and a review on iTunes, it really helps more people find the show. We're on Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher, anywhere you can download podcasts. We have a Patreon as well that you can get all the episodes early. You can get a couple of bonus episodes, stuff like that. If you want to support the show, you toss us a couple bucks. That's very much appreciated. And I think that's it. Did I do all the things that we normally do?
You mentioned our email earlier, right?
I did the email, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're good.
I mentioned it in this at the end here too.
Cool. I zoned out. I don't listen to you when you do this shit.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not the fun part of the show.
You should just record it.
Record it once and
record
then
it once and then put it.
That's so smart. Why don't we do that?
What episode is this? This is the first time I've thought of this idea.
22.
Fuck.
Yeah. Okay, great. Cool. Well, because then we wouldn't get gold like this.
You're right.
Gold content, right? No, it's not. Cool. Keep watching crap.